Hello friends, welcome back to Knowledge Account. This is our new video, and like all the videos, I am not with my brother because today we are not having our DSLR and tripod stand, so he's only shooting the video from our smartphone. So friends, for many days we were not in touch with you, but now this is our new video. I will tell you something about what I study and what I know, and that information I will share to you. So friends, in present century, science is held in high esteem. The word science comes from a Latin verb, scientia, which means to know. Man has always been curious to know more and more about things which surround him and affect him. Have you ever thought that what is science? You study science, you study physics, chemistry, mathematics, but have you ever thought that what is science? The knowledge which man has gained through observations and experiments when organized systematically is known as science. I will repeat the definition. The knowledge which man has gained through observations and experiments when organized systematically is known as science. Then what is physics? Let's come on the topic physics. Then what is physics? Physics is an experimental science. It is completely, totally, entirely based on experiments. We do experiments, we observe something, those observations we connect to the theoretical description given by great scientists like Albert Einstein, Isaac Newton, etc. In physics, we do experiments, we connect the observations of those experiments, what we observe while doing that experiment, those becomes our observations, and we connect those observations to our theoretical description of nature given by the great scientists. That only we do in physics. In physics, we deal with a number of physical quantities like length, mass, time, force and pressure, and many more. Today's topic is measurements and experiments. In physics, we will discuss about measurements and experiments today. So friends, there are many types of physical quantities in physics which we deal with, like mass, length, force, pressure, acceleration, etc. But these physical quantities can give clear understanding only if we can measure them and express our conclusions into those quantities. For this reason also, sometimes physics is called the science of the measurement. Suppose that, I will explain this with the help of an example. Suppose that if you drop a body of an object from a certain height, it falls down. In order to understand this natural phenomenon, you should know that why the body falls, with how much velocity does it fall. This velocity depends on its mass, what is the time taken by the body to reach the ground. So for understanding all these things, information of or knowledge of the formulas of distance, time, etc. are essential. Now next, what is measurement? We will discuss about measurement. Suppose that, first before learning something about measurement, you have to know that what is a physical quantity. Any quantity which can be measured or anything which can be measured is known as a physical quantity. Like we can measure the mass of an object, we can measure the length of an object, we can measure the time reaching from one distance to another. So all these quantities are known as physical quantities. Now what is measurement? Measurement is the comparison of an unknown physical quantity with a known fixed unit quantity of the same nature. What is the meaning of this? Suppose that if you want to measure the length of a scale, a meter scale, an ordinary scale, then two things you have to find. First of all, you have to select a unit which you will use for measuring that physical quantity of the particular object. Second thing, what you have to find a number which expresses that how many times that chosen unit is contained in the given physical quantity. Another example, if you want to measure mass of an object and you measured that mass and you found the answer is 2 kg. So it means that the unit for measuring the mass of that particular object you chose, that is kilogram, and that unit kilogram is contained 2 times, means numerical value 2 in the mass of that object. So again I will repeat the definition. What is measurement? Measurement is the comparison of an unknown physical quantity with a known fixed quantity of the same nature. Now we have to know that what are the two things needed for expressing the magnitude of a physical quantity. So what I told you, which are the two things needed for expressing the magnitude of a physical quantity. So what is magnitude? When you express the value of a particular physical quantity. Suppose that if you want to measure the length of this book and you measure and you got that is 2 meters. So unit you chose, that is meters, and that unit meter is contained 2 times in the length of this book. So when you write the numerical value 2 and the unit together, so that is known as the magnitude. Suppose that if you want to measure the length of this book, this is small book, and it comes like 25 centimeter. So centimeter is the unit and 25 is the numerical value. When you write both of them together, 25 and centimeter together means it becomes 25 centimeter. That is the magnitude of the physical quantity length of this book. So what are the two things needed for expressing the magnitude of a physical quantity? First of all, the unit in which the physical quantity is measured, and second thing, first of all, I will repeat, the unit in which the physical quantity is measured, and the second thing is you have to choose a unit. Means you have to find a number which expresses how many times the chosen unit is contained in the given physical quantity. Okay, suppose that, so what is the formula? Magnitude of a physical quantity is equal to numerical value of the physical quantity into size of the unit. Now next thing, what are the characteristics of a unit? What are the characteristics of a standard unit? First of all, first characteristic is it should be of a convenient size, that it should be measured. Suppose that if you want to measure the length of this book, then you will not measure it in kilometers, or you will not measure in it the more practical units like astronomical unit or parsec or in light years. You will not measure in this. You will measure in centimeters. Yes, you will measure in centimeters, or you will not go in smaller units, like you will not measure the length of this in millimeters. So you have to choose a convenient size. Suppose that if you want to measure the distance between Delhi and Lucknow, so you will measure in kilometers, not in millimeters. Yes, that sounds difficult. So second characteristic is it should be well defined. You should know the proper definition of that unit. Yes, it should be well defined. Now third is that it should be easily available or accessible. Fourth characteristic of a unit is it should be easily reproducible, means replicas of the unit is easily available. So these all are the characteristics of unit. And two more are there. It should not change with time and place. Suppose that if you measure the length of this book and you got it as 25 centimeters. So either it is no matter that where you measure, time doesn't matter and place should not matter in measuring the physical quantity of something. Suppose that if I measure the length of this book here at my home, so I got 25 centimeters. In America and London I will measure, then also I will get 25 centimeters. So it means that centimeters, that unit is of means it does not change with time and place. One more thing is that the unit should not change with the change in the physical conditions like temperature and pressure. Because of the temperature, yes, if we can say that we have studied about thermal expansion. So because of a little more amount of heat, a solid can expand, but in ordinary scale will not get it. You have to get some special instrument, then only it will measure it. But in the ordinary scale we can't get any different measurement. So these all are the characteristics of unit. Now the second thing is, see, the number of units we have in science and in physics are in large number. To define them, to define all of them separately is not easy. It is not feasible. So that's why our scientists have given them two types. Number one, fundamental units or basic units, and the second is derived units. So what are fundamental units? See, the fundamental units, the units of the measurements, length, mass and time, do not depend on other physical quantities. They are not definable in terms of other physical quantities. So they are, and all other physical quantities can be obtained from them. So they are known as the fundamental quantities and fundamental or basic basic quantities, and their units are known as fundamental units or basic units. Now what are derived units? The units of measurements. The units of measurements of all other physical quantities which can be written or expressed in terms of fundamental quantities or with the help of fundamental quantities are known as derived quantities, and the units are known as derived units. So for example, speed. If you want to measure speed, it is a derived quantity because the formula of speed is distance upon time. So unit of speed will be unit of distance upon unit of time. Unit of distance is length and unit of time is second. So length upon second, and unit of length is meter. So meter per second. So meter per second is derived from the fundamental quantities, means fundamental units. Now we have different types of units also. Number one is CGS system. It is the Gaussian system in which length is measured in centimeter, weight is measured in gram. CGS system of units. In this, it is the Gaussian system, and in this system the unit of length is centimeter, means length is measured in centimeter, weight is measured in gram, and time is measured in seconds. Then we have the FPS system. It is the British engineering system in which length is measured in foot, and weight is measured in pound, and time is measured in second. Now we have the third, we have MKS system. In this system, length is measured in meters, weight is measured in kilograms, and time is measured in seconds. See, this system, MKS system, when this system was extended to electricity, so with current as the fundamental quantity, ampere was taken as its unit. So then our MKS system was known as the MKSA system. But all these systems which I told, they have their own drawbacks and difficulties. So we don't use MKS system or MKSA system or FPS system or CGS system. No, we use, what system we use? We use the SI system, means Standard International System of Units now, because they are more scientific, uniform, and have been accepted by all the countries of the world for scientific work. And you should know something about the history of SI units. See, in 1792, the French Academy of Science made a metric system of units. Which was based on the decimal system. And then in October 1960, the 11th General Conference on Weights and Measures adopted a simple system for using the units for our measurements. That was known as the SI system of units. And the SI was abbreviation for Système International Units in French, which is known as Standard International System of Units in our language, in English. Now, there are many units. There are many fundamental units which have their own SI units, like length, meter, time, second, weight, kilogram, acceleration, meter per second, luminous intensity, and the luminous intensity, that is mole, MOL. Now, you should know I'm so sorry for a DSLR camera and tripod stand, because it is not there. Otherwise, I would have shown you more better quality of this video. Now, you should know separately, in detail about the unit of length, mass, and time. The unit of length is meter. What is the definition of meter? 1 meter is defined as the distance traveled by light in vacuum. 1 meter is defined as the length of the path traveled by light in vacuum during a time interval of 1/299792458 of a second. There are many smaller units of meters like decimeter, centimeter, millimeter, micrometer, angstrom, nanometer, Fermi, etc. 1 decimeter is equal to 10 to the power minus 1 meter. 1 decimeter is equal to 10 to the power minus 1 meter. 1 centimeter is equal to 10 to the power minus 2 meter. 1 millimeter is equal to 10 to the power minus 3 meter. 1 micrometer is equal to 10 to the power minus 6 meter. 1 nanometer is equal to 10 to the power minus 9 meter. 1 angstrom is equal to 10 to the power minus 10 meter. And 1 Fermi is equal to 10 to the power minus 15 meter. There are many bigger units of meters like kilometers, hectometers, and decameters. 1 meter is equal to 10 to the power 1 decameter. 1 meter is equal to 10 to the power No. 1 kilometer is equal to 10 to the power 3 meters. 1 hectometer is equal to 10 to the power 2 meter, and 1 decameter is equal to 10 to the power 1 meter. Now there are much bigger units of meter. Like astronomical unit, light year, and parsec. What is astronomical unit? One astronomical unit is the mean distance between the centers of the Earth and the Sun. One astronomical unit is denoted by capital A and capital U. So 1 capital A and capital U means 1 astronomical unit is equal to 1.496 into 10 to the power 11 meter. You can think such a huge unit it is, such a huge value it is. Then second is light year. 1 light year is defined as the path traveled by light in vacuum in 1 year. Its value is 1 light year is equal to 3.96 into 10 to the power 15 meter. Now parsec. 1 parsec is equal to 3.26 times the light year, means 1 parsec is equal to 3.26 light years. Now unit of mass. The unit of mass is kilogram. 1 kilogram is defined as the mass equal to the mass of a standard platinum iridium alloy cylinder, means 90% platinum and 10% iridium, kept at 0 degrees Celsius at International Bureau of Weights and Measures in Sevres near France in France. Now some practical units of weights. The unit of weight is kilogram, that we know. So what are the practical units of kilogram? One practical unit of kilogram is Chandrasekhar limit. It is the largest unit. It is the largest unit for kilogram. It is the Chandrasekhar unit. It is means Chandrasekhar unit. Chandrasekhar limit it is. That is known as CSL. So 1 CSL is equal to something. So friends, what I told you about 2 practical units of kilogram. First one is the smallest practical unit of kilogram, that is atomic mass unit AMU. It is the smallest practical unit of kilogram, and the biggest practical unit of kilogram is Chandrasekhar limit CSL. According to it, it is the Chandrasekhar limit CSL is equal to 1.33 the mass of a sun. So I told you many things. So what I told you, you should learn something, and then you will be capable of telling all those things to everyone. So friends, this is the second part of the video, and in this part we will know about what is force. So first of all, let's talk about the definition of force. So force is a push or pull applied on an object which can change the direction of the body. First thing, change the dimension of the body. Then first thing, change the direction of the body, change the dimension of the body, change the size of the body, change the shape of the body. These all things force can do. Now we will talk about some types of force. So the first one is translational force. So what is translational force? So when a body, suppose this is the body, and some force is applied on this body, and suppose this is the body and force is applied from this side, then the body is moving to the straight line. So when a force is applied on the body and the body moves towards a straight line, then the force is known as translational motion. Then the second type of force is rotational force. So rotational force, when a force is applied on the body, suppose this is the body, when a force is applied on the body and the body rotates, then the force is known as rotatory force, rotational force or rotatory force. Now we will talk about motions, clockwise motion and anti-clockwise motion. So the first one is clockwise motion. So what is clockwise motion? When a force is applied, when a force has a tendency to move an object in clockwise movement, then it is known as clockwise movement. And when a force has the tendency to move the object in anti-clockwise direction, then the force is known as anti-clockwise movement. Now let's talk about what is moment of force. Moment of force. First, let's talk about the formula of moment of force. First of all, let's talk about what is moment of force. So, moment of force is equal to force into momentum. This is the formula of moment of force. Then let's talk about, and we have one thing more, that is couple of force. So what is the formula for couple of force? That is force into couple arm. Now, what is point of action of force? So, let's talk about point of action of force. When a force is applied, the point where the force is applied, that is known as the point of action of force. Then let's talk about what is line of action of force. So, line of action of force passes to the point of action of force, and it goes in the direction where the force is applied. Okay, friends. So now let's talk about what is moment arm. This is very important. That what is moment arm. So you might be asked that what is definition of moment arm. So here you will get the right one. So what is moment arm? The perpendicular distance between the pivoted point to the line of action of force is known as moment arm. Now, one thing is more in force. What is that? Equilibrium of force. So, what is equilibrium of force? First, the definition. So, when a body in a state of rest or in motion and many forces are applied on it, but then also the body doesn't change its state, then it is known as equilibrium of force. Then, it has two types. First, static equilibrium, and second one, dynamic equilibrium. So, static means in rest and dynamic means in motion. So, first the definition of static equilibrium. So, what is static equilibrium? Suppose this is an object or this is a body. So, when a body is in rest, suppose this is in rest, and many forces are applied on it, such as gravitational force, engine force, and many types of force are applied on this body. So, when a body is in rest and many forces are applied on the body, but then also the body doesn't change its state, then it is known as static equilibrium. So, the second thing, that is dynamic equilibrium. Dynamic means in motion. When a body is in motion, then a number of forces are applied on the body from its surroundings. So, but then also the body doesn't change its motion, it doesn't change its state. That is, it remains in motion. Then it is known as dynamic equilibrium. Then these were the things in topic force, under topic force. Now, let's revise the definition of force. What is force? Force is a push or pull applied on an object. Force is a push or pull applied on an object which has a tendency to change the direction of the body, change the dimension of the body, change the size of the body, change the shape of the body, etc. So friends, this was the topic. In this video, we studied two topics. That is, first one was measurement, and this one is force. So friends, please like this video, share this video, subscribe this video, because we are using many types